do you kind of ask them, okay, so I'm giving you this stamp, but why do you think, what did you do well today? That you could kind of model it so they can self-reflect, because that would really make it a little more student-centered.
Yeah.
Because that way they're thinking about themselves, their own performance, and if they can use the IB, learner profile or attributes and attitudes, that would be great. If you could use the star and almost kind of, I ask my children to look at the list of the learner profiles and just choose one and then give a reason why. It's okay for them to choose. They can kind of either point and you can then kind of explain what that is. But then you kind of need to get them to give a reason why it applies to them. Like if they were principled, you could then say, okay, so how were you principled? And they may need a few examples, especially because they're still quite new to the concept of the learner profile. But trying to get them to self-reflect and give reasons why they think they deserve that stamp will help to make it a little bit more aimed at the children. And it may also then encourage them to have a higher level of engagement the next time, because they're thinking, oh, I was principled this time, I got a stamp, so next class I can continue to be principled, I might get another stamp. And they can just start this process of self-motivation and just having this reflection.
Yeah. Helen actually said, I'm good.
Fantastic.
And that now that you mentioned it, I should probably make it more.
Did you document it?
I did. I wrote it down.
Okay, great.
She always wants to start though. So and she does do well. Like she communicates, she is principled most of the time, and she works well with others. So I sometimes say, yes, you are good. So and maybe I should go from there and link it to the IB vocab. Yeah.
So based on that observation, what will your next step be in terms of setting a short-term goal for Helen? So she said today, I'm good. What do you think you could do next to
I would say that when she says I'm good, then I would say, yes, I think you behaved well in class. So I want to make it specific, like what do you mean by good? And then I would ask her, next class, what can you do more to really be better? Because I don't want to use complicated words, so I want to use words that she can relate to and maybe words that she can understand and kind of explain and thinking about it. So I wouldn't expect her to give me an answer right away, but I would want her to say, think about it, Helen.
Okay.
And maybe I could ask her, like you said, show her that star and ask her, today you're principled. Next class, what would you do?
Yeah, you could definitely ask her, like, next time, how will you be good?
Yeah.
And you could also keep it more current, like, okay, so what made you feel that you were good in this class? So how were you good? Because I think for these children, say next time, next class, this idea of time is still quite a difficult concept for them. But if it's right now, like now, how were you good? That might be a little more relevant to them. But it's definitely a good idea for the future. Like if you're asking older children to reflect, that's a really good way of promoting, positive reflection for the future. How can they use what they've done now and apply it? But definitely, I think self-reflection is something you could start to incorporate. Yeah. And like you did today, you documented, I'm good. Now we need to kind of think about what does this represent, and how can we use this in the future. So next time, you can almost use this example with Helen in the next class and say, well, last class you said I'm good.
Show a sentence with Helen saying, like a picture saying Helen, and then like maybe a conversation bubble or something. I'm good. Like to show the children that Helen said this last class.
It's a good way of modeling it to the class, because that would promote, the idea of thinking about ourselves, like personally, and having our own perspective about our own performance. That's a really good idea. That's a good way of modeling it.
I think I should tell the other children that, what you said is, I value what you say, and that I want to present it to the class to encourage, student input. So to make it more more student-centered.
And that would, exactly, would make it more student-centered. Because really, a student-centered classroom, the ideas should be coming from the children. Through listening and observing, we should be facilitating more of what the children are interested in and what they want to learn about. And they should be making more choices, making more decisions, and being able to justify those choices, justify those decisions. So by getting them to start to think more in terms of reflection, that will help. There was one moment in the class, sticking with student-centered classroom, there was one moment in the class after you finished watching the video, the children said one more time. They wanted to watch the video again.
I would have shown it if I had more time.
Okay, so it was a time.
And also, because for my next lesson, I'm going to show it again.
Okay.
To refresh your memory. So that's why I didn't play it again. I really want to do it again. If I had like a 1 hour lesson, I would definitely play it again. But yeah.
I think.
That's
how long was the video?
It was 2 minutes.
I think you maybe could have squeezed in 2 minutes.
Because well, I do have the PowerPoint for my hippos class.
Okay.
After I showed it, I went over the PowerPoint with them.
Okay.
So that's kind of like doing it again, but like
I think in that moment, there's something you maybe, if you, I mean, it was 2 minutes. Maybe you really didn't have the time. You were pushed for time. But if you did have those 2 minutes, and your children said one more time,
you would play it again, right?
Okay. What could you do to kind of find out the consensus of the class?
Okay, I will ask, how many of you want to watch it again? Can you raise your hand? So if I see the majority.
Do a quick survey. Do a quick survey. And this is something that you can kind of do to, again, make choices, collaborative choices within the classroom to make it more student-centered. So, these little surveys that you do throughout the class can help to guide the class. And like you say, it doesn't have to be.
I do want to play it again. I do.
It's a minor point because I know that you were rushed for time.
The kids always want to do something, and they do tell me, and I really appreciate it. But sometimes it's like, gotta be the teacher, and do stuff like. But yeah, I will do little surveys just to kind of get that next step.
Just gauge, and that also helps you to gauge the level of engagement. It also helps to observe what the children are interested in, how they respond to what you're presenting to them, like the video. If only one child put up their hand, then you kind of think,
then it's justified. Like, guys, there's only one of you.
Yeah. But if the whole class put up their hand, then that's an indicator that the children like this kind of visual presentation of the content. This is just another little way of making it a little more focused on the student and letting the children make choices. They shouldn't. The children you shouldn't feel like the children have to dictate the class, but they should have a part of the class. They should be able to make little judgments and make choices to help make decisions as a class. And then they learn the process. They learn that we don't just do it because we want to do it. We have to find out if everybody wants to do it. So that's just a little tip for the future. Use these little quick surveys, get an indicator, and it helps inform you about what the kids like, what they're interested in. Now you touched on time. You said there wasn't much time. Why were you pushed for time at that point?
I wanted them to go into their groups because one of the groups, they're supposed to look at the story and they're supposed to review the story again. So that's also why I didn't play the video again, because I thought they could do it in their group. Okay. And also because there were 12 minutes left to the end of the class. So at that point, I was thinking, should I still put them in different groups, or should I just do an activity as a whole class activity. So I had to think about that because I was planning on spend 10 minutes or 10 or 15 minutes, I guess, for the CVC words, 3-letter words. It took longer than I anticipated, so I really want to make sure that they understand before I move on to 4-letter words. Like,
I think that the review, it took a little too long, and it took away from the main objective of the class, which was the
I sound.
Yeah, the I sound. So, as a review, I would have, breaking it down from the individual letter sound to then putting in a CVC word and then making that connection to the 4-letter word. That was really good. This is very clear and it does help to reinforce their prior knowledge. I would have just focused on the I and the E because they are the 2 sounds that are contained within the I sound. And you still could have asked the children the I, what sound is this, the E, then put those into CVC words and then combine them. Because then that would have made it a lot more focused on the I sound. And that way you would have saved time so that you could have played the video again because the focus was on the I, don't forget. So having spent a little bit too long in the beginning, you then had to feel you had to rush through the rest of the class. And maybe the children missed the point of the new sound. Now, I know your activities were, some of them were linked to the other sounds, which was great. I would have suggested maybe having the activities focused for the lower and intermediate ability children, focused on the I, or the I and the E, and doing some kind of sorting activity where they look at the word. For the lower ability children, it could have just been the picture, getting to that vocabulary first, and then sorting it. Was it in the video? Or was it not in the video? Just a simple sorting activity with pictures, and the children have to use their knowledge about what they saw in the video, and also learn a new vocabulary word with the guidance of the teacher or their friends or peers. Then the intermediate group, perhaps you could have had pictures and words. Same activity, sorting, but you have a mixture. They sort the pictures with the vocab words, and then you have maybe the words written down, like pie, tie, lie. And then, because then they have to use a little bit more, they may look at the picture, know the vocab word, and then they can start to use their reading skills to try and read and decode the word. The higher ability group, I think you could have differentiated to put different sounds, like the E, the O sound, and you could have done the same activity again, just to keep it simple, because then you only have to model one activity, but that activity is differentiated through the content of the activity, rather than thinking you have to differentiate every activity.
That's a really good point, because when I was designing the activities, I was thinking about how I'm going to have each team learn the I sound to start. And then I was thinking about learning the I sound, but forgetting what they've learned in the past is not successful, right? I still want them to learn. But how do you make it specific enough that they're learning the I sound with E and E, like combined, that they're thinking about that they're making that connection, and that they're learning, instead of having like all the other like E or O sound or like
I think that was okay for the children who, from your previous assessments, they kind of already get, those sounds. They already know that there is an E and an O, or the other sounds, because they will be able to process the new sound, because they already know that 2 letters make a new sound. It changes. Whereas the intermediate and lower ability children, I think the focus really had to be on the new sound. And for the lower ability children, building up their vocabulary, because a lot of them still don't have a big vocabulary. Just being able to.
And I keep revisiting the sounds that they already know, which is what I try to do here.
Yeah.
Like you said, I should simplify it to just one thing.
Simplify it for the whole class, then complicate it to differentiate and challenge the children who already have that, who are ready. Remember we talked about readiness last week? You have to kind of plan your lessons so that everyone can engage and they're at a level playing field, then differentiate in your smaller group activities. But
when you model
really, simplify it. And the modeling as well. I think you have to think, how am I going to present this to the children so they understand? And it also comes down to where you present it, how you choose to show them what the expectation is, how are you going to show them where to go, to transition between the carpet and the other parts of the classroom. But I mean, this all comes down to managing your environment and just thinking about every part of your lesson plan. How am I going to present this to the children effectively so that they understand?
Good ideas. Well, excellent ideas.
Well, it comes from just trial and error. I mean, you find out what works for you and what works for the children. Okay, well, let's just go on to collaboration and safe, positive learning climate.
Okay.
I think you did exceptionally well today with your positive reinforcement. I think you really tried to create a really positive learning environment. Your class showed that you do have routines in place. They just need to be refined. I think the area that we talked about in the previous session, about task 2, was communicating your expectations.
Touch of us? Oh, 3:15.
3:15, yeah.
I was like 2:30.
No, 3:15,
Okay.
it's okay. So communicating the expectation at the start and doing that at kind of the beginning of the class, I think would be effective, and then revisiting it through the class.
The star, for example.
Yeah, the IB star, or any form of classroom management. We tend to use essential agreements here, which is something that the homeroom teacher should have in place. So you may want to communicate with Miss Judy and kind of look at their essential agreement.
I think it's up there. already.
Yeah, I made one for my
maybe-
EL class before you came, for the AL class before you came. But you don't, the children should be familiar with it. When you have your own class, this is something for you to consider at the very beginning of the year, because then you can refer to it, and it's this reference to whatever agreement or management strategy you put in place. You have to refer to it and be consistent. So I think
being consistent is quite important.
And that will help to create a positive learning environment, because the children will constantly be reflecting on the behaviour and having it modelled to them. So just be consistent. But other than that, I think you used your teaching assistants to support the children. They helped you with your assessments. So your team is working effectively, collaborating together, and it looks like your team is working positively together. Your team is engaged in what you want them to kind of be helping you with, and that in turn is really helping the class.
I'm really glad that they try their best to help.
But it's down to you, because you're showing them in advance your lesson plans, your assessments, you're talking them through it, and that comes from you, and you are working well together. So I think you're doing really well. And next week, if we can just kind of build on this and think more about your environment in terms of reflection, student-centered reflection, mini surveys, just to let the children make choices, And just your modeling of your activities and being consistent.
Reflection, consistency.
Consistency in classroom management, modeling of your activities and transitions, and that should be. I think that's enough to kind of be getting on with for next week. Yeah. Oh, and surveys.
Oh, and mini surveys.
Mini surveys, just to let the children make choices. You don't have to do it like continuously. Just when like the opportunity came about today, when there is that opportunity, take it. It doesn't take long just to see the consensus of the class and find out what the children are interested in. Yeah. That will inform